Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels, and welcome to the Week in Geek, a wholly owned subsidiary of Free Range Idiocy, Inc. Yes, somehow we've incorporated, in spite of having no money, no ideas. We have a headquarters. Anyways, wherein we present our midweek dose of geekery for you, the people. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we found off the bottom of the interweb's shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the lead editor and chief bottle washer of The Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Wait.
What?
There's no like dramatic reading to begin the show.
I'm pressing pause on this one. I've gone through the plethora of theme songs and I think I'm hitting upon repeats, so I'm taking a breather for a little bit. I know you're gonna have the vapors, and I do apologize. I didn't forewarn you there, sir. But yeah.
You can't do this, Steve. You can't. Oh. All right. Well, hell with it. As Harry Doyle would say in Major League, the hell with it.
Well, just for you, booyaka.
You know what? That at least gives me a little something.
You know, I figured after last week when you looked absolutely flummoxed by like one of the ones I was doing, and like maybe I just should take the foot off the gas pedal on this one for a little bit. So
I mean, just because you have one week where I don't know something, I mean that's every week actually. It's just it happened to be the song. That was it.
Well, fair enough.
Well, I'm doing all right, sir. How about yourself?
I am well. Had a nice, wrestling-rific weekend watching SummerSlam, which we will talk about in our Week in Geek episode. And
we will. I thought that was going to be the.
Oh, sorry, I meant our Free Range Idiocy Friday episode.
Yes, yes. This is Week in Geek Wednesday.
Sorry.
Hashtag Week in Geek Wednesday.
Indeed. Look at that. I don't do the walk-in, and I'm just all over the map now.
You're just completely crapping.
What happened?
Right now. My goodness.
What happened?
Just wait till that bourbon gets to you. That'll straighten you out.
They will. But doing well. No complaints. I was I was angling to get a bike ride in over the weekend, decided not to. Actually, probably good for my health. I don't know if you're paying attention to the news, but apparently the Canadian wildfires are pushing a lot of smoke into our neighborhoods.
Oh yeah, it's definitely wildfire season, because when I looked at the weather yesterday, first thing that came up is like air quality warning. And then this morning, I looked at the weather again, and it was worse than it was yesterday. So I'm like, okay, great. So I'll just hold my breath for another 24 hours. No problem.
Yep.
I just took the doors and the top off of the Jeep. So, okay, fine. No filtering of anything. Just let me breathe in all the particulates. Just all of them. It'll be great.
It's nothing like going for a bike ride and coming back with your lungs as if you smoked a cigar or five. So
sound like one of the Marge's.
Hello.
What was their names? Or
Patty and Selma.
Yeah, I was going to say one started with an S.
Bouvier.
Yeah. Oh,
Homer.
Dear God, it's bone chilling. Actually,
it is. It really is. And and for those who are wondering, right behind me, there is my precious one, and over here is my precious two. So
I'm sure your family feels so great about you referring to your championship belts that you didn't even win. You did not even win these belts.
I won them through the game of life.
Did you pin the FedEx guy?
Actually, it was more of a submission.
RKO out of nowhere.
No, I think if I tried
what hell of a workman's comp claim he's going to have.
I think if I tried that, I'd look like Tommaso Ciampa, when he was kind of doing his, from nowhere, Which, by the way, next to the Bobby Roode glorious, nod and pose they would do with Robert Roode, or Bobby Roode, as he's known in WWE. Gosh, Gargano and Ciampa, if they don't if they aren't the most damn creative and hysterical individuals, they just come up with these gimmicks, and it turns into like internet fodder within days. It's
I
crazy.
still loved when R-Truth would refer to them as Triple H and the Heartbreak Kid. I thought that was fantastic. I love that so much.
But that is his Ron Killings upping to just, okay, guys, I see you, and I raise you.
Yeah. Oh, you want to be the comedy act? No. Let me show you how it's done.
No. You're playing with the master. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. So,
well,
we
got some stuff here for the Week in Geek, right? We're actually doing a
but I have a
genuine
question
Week
for
in
you.
Geek.
But I have a question for you.
Why does that like every week now you have a question for me? I'm a little scared of what we're heading into here.
Give me 1 second here. I have to pull something up to make sure.
Are you going to ask me about the birds and the bees? Because I figured you would have kind of worked that out for yourself at this point.
I need to know.
Yes.
In the next week or two.
Okay. Oh, dear
Are
God.
you in or are you out? And I'm asking you this only because I believe I was going to try to verify this before I said this, but I have to log in and I don't have time to do that because I got to look at my password. But we may have... right now, I believe in our league, I had to create the garbage team to offset the fact that you joined last year. So we had an even number of teams. So if you're out, I will eliminate the garbage team and take you out. And then our league will be even Steven and we can draft. If you're in, I will leave it as is because we're even Steven with the garbage team. So again, I ask you, sir, have you thought about the proposal, and are you...
I haven't thought about it one bit until right now, and I'm more pissed off than I have been in the last week. Right now. Just even thinking about it. I'm getting hives.
Uncle Todd is a little salty tonight.
Like
once we talk about...
A little salty. I'm like the Dead Sea right now, just thinking about fantasy football.
And just wait till we just come back for Friday's episode, because let me tell you, if he's salty now, wait till he gets going on Salty SummerSlam, because Uncle Todd has some thoughts, some
Salty
verbs,
Slam.
some adjectives to share with you all.
I have thoughts for sure. I'll get back to you. I will make a decision by next week. For next week's show, we will have the decision of where I'm going to take my talents, whether I'm going to take my talents to Yahoo Fantasy Football or if I'm going to take them to the five guys down the street and just finally give up on life.
Would it help if I took the big gold belt and put it over my shoulder to commemorate the fact that
the
champ
if you actually,
is here, right
if
here?
you actually put the belt up
for
the winner,
I earned
if you actually, you haven't yet to defend it. You're not a fighting champ. You're a chump. You're a paper champ. You're a paper champion. Haven't defended the belt. Even Roman Reigns defended the belt. Granted, it was twice a year, but he defended the belt.
Twice a year and at 50 minutes a pop, where he's moving about, one move every 3 minutes.
Yeah. Again, I'll have thoughts on Friday.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
I will make the decision tomorrow. Decision next week.
Oh, look at that. A teaser for next week's Week in Geek. The Decision. We already have the episode. The Decision. There it is. Will Uncle Todd grace us with his presence and be smote yet again by the fantasy gods?
Will Uncle Todd raise his blood pressure and have blood in his stool? Just out of sheer passivity over fantasy football, over a fantasy team that doesn't even know it's a team.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, man.
I can't wait.
Wonder what we should do. I don't know. I'll have to talk with you off.
The thing is, I would ask you right now, I would say, what have I ever done to you? But the fact is, that list would go on for an awfully long time, and we don't have time for that. So I guess,
amen and amen.
I guess I shouldn't ask that question.
Indeed.
All right, onward and sideways. I guess.
Well, this Week in Geek, the theme for this Week in Geek is going old school.
Okay.
And I don't mean Undertaker from the top rope, old school. Well, kind of like that, but.
Well, if he did it now, you'd need a walker.
But from our friends at ScreenRant.com.
Your friends, not my friends.
And we are, in this Week in Geek, ladies and gentlemen, we are going old school, because we're going back to the old, what do we have in the riffraff of the internet that we need to, interwebs that we need to talk about around all things sci-fi, Star Wars, Marvel, wrestling, whatever.
I love how you're padding this out. So these are all going to take like 2 minutes each.
No, they are going to take 2 minutes each. So ScreenRant.com, title of this article, Star Wars built a life-size, read it, life-size Imperial Walker for the Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm just going to stop there, but I'm not even going to go into the article.
Is it on eBay yet?
What's...
Because I'm telling you right now, that's way better than a couple of championship belts that you ain't even going to defend.
Honey, what's that in the backyard? Never mind you. It's my man cave.
And the beauty is the HOA can't do anything because you're in charge.
That's fair enough.
It's an accessory dwelling.
It's like, what's that vehicle? What is that thing over in the water retention area? It's the only place you're going to be able to store it is over there. So, you know.
And you'd be up there. Blam, 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 blam.
That's right.
I would definitely make a trip out to Chicago for that. And I'd be out there drunk, running around a rope with them at the bottom, trying to take out the legs.
Oh, my gosh.
Your neighbors would be out there. I can understand what he's doing, but why is he not wearing pants? Pretty sure Luke Skywalker had pants on.
Yep. Well, this article, I'm going to give you the summarization from our friends at ChatGPT on this one. ScreenRant.com is the provider of this fine article. But it was announced at Star Wars Celebration in Japan by filmmakers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. The ILM constructed a full-scale, life-sized Imperial Walker, going beyond the miniatures or the digital effects of the volume for the film. The practical build includes an interior set large enough for actors to walk through and film action sequences organically.
Jon Favreau, just drunk on power, is flipping awesome at this point.
Is it not? Is it not the most wonderful thing in the world? Oh yeah. Let's see. This decision, the decision to build a physical set reflects a desire to go bigger and more immersive, which is really interesting because, when you think back to when Mando first came out and they had that kind of behind the scenes series, it had like several episodes to it, and you see the volume and you're just kind of like blown away where it's like, oh my God, they can recreate any environment, any sort of lighting, setup. It's like, why would you need, kind of a real set? And as time went on, I think it kind of got exposed a little bit. I think in this article, I don't know if it's this one or another one I read, but when like the series Kenobi is brought up a few times as an example of the volume kind of run amok. I think there were times you could kind of see. I do remember when they talked about the volume that there are limitations when they're trying to stitch together like a skyline or something like that. There are certain I don't know if it's like a refraction sort of thing with the light or the scene where things can get kind of like funky or a little wonky. And that sometimes comes out or it looks a little too fake. But I mean, I don't know, like anytime they used it and they filmed Tatooine, I thought it was an amazing way to do like the whole Tatooine landscape where you didn't have to take everyone out to, the tundra of, Africa or something like that. So, but no, in this case, they wanted to go bigger, more immersive. Exclusive footage shown at the event depicted Din Djarin entering the walker from the rear, walking through the interior and engaging in a continuous fight sequence with more than 10 snowtroopers, highlighting how spacious the interior really is. So, to your point about Favreau being drunk on power, this is the thing that I love about what Favreau does is he, and really, a lot of the effective directors who have, I can't think of his name, Tony Gilroy, like for Andor, where they give you a peek into things that have been kind of there and commonplace, but we never got a chance in the movies to go deep because in a movie, you can't really go deep on every single vehicle. So I really appreciate the fact, like in this movie, he's going to give us a perspective of the Imperial Walkers that we really have never seen before. We've never been inside of one. We've seen like quick shots of the cockpit from Empire when the guy's like, aim the shield generator, maximum power, it's like that's about the extent of we've seen of the interior of it. And of course we've seen the way you take it down, which is fly around those legs. There you go. So I'm kind of excited for this. This will mark the first live-action glimpse of an Imperial... Oh, I already said that. Sorry. Let's see. Film reintroduces walkers to the Star Wars timeline during the New Republic era. And I found this interesting. It's widely expected to deliver what could be one of the best Walker fight scenes yet, possibly eclipsing the ATST attack from the Mandalorian series. So that kind of sounds pretty cool. So thoughts on that, sir? And the use of the reel instead of, if we would call the volume the jabroni? I don't know.
He's the red.
That's right. What say you?
So this is the thing that always comes up with new technology and new techniques and everything. And you can see it in music, you can see it in art, you can see it in writing, all of it. Something new comes up, and that is a new shiny thing. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, use this. And everyone overuses it and tries to use it to a degree that at the moment it's cool for that moment because everyone's like, this is the new shiny thing.
Right.
And it ages really poorly. Because then people figure out better ways to use it and to use it more subtly and to use it in conjunction with other techniques. And I'll talk about this in another thing for this episode. Digital effects is one of those things that, I mean, we see it within Star Wars. George Lucas went all in on digital sets, on digital everything when he was doing the prequel trilogy. And to the point where he was only building sets as tall as the actors, which of course famously resulted in having to spend a couple extra $100,000 because Liam Neeson is so friggin' tall they had to build the sets an extra foot taller or something. And then you look at those and you're like, they don't like, okay, but it doesn't age as well. Yeah, it doesn't fit in with the rest of the series, especially when you get into episodes 7, 8, and 9, which say what you want. They went back to a mixture of practical and digital and some force perspective, and they were using all the tricks in the bag, and it actually looked a lot more like Star Wars. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that we're getting to this point. Like, I mean, and the fact is, like, if anyone's going to build a life-size AT-AT, and I'm going to call it an AT-AT because that's what I called it as a kid, and I'm just too old to change now.
AT-AT.
I mean, if that's the length of my, old man, I'm not going to change sort of thing, then okay, that's fine, I guess. But if anyone has the ability to do this, it's Star Wars, because as much as we hear about, oh my gosh, this and that and the other, they're in trouble. And this, Star Wars is not in trouble. Star Wars makes money hand over fist, year over year over year over year. They just do. Like, it's an ATM machine. So it doesn't surprise me that they would do this. I'm a little surprised that, like, a full-size AT-AT, they're like, that's some serious cash. But if it's for a set piece like this, it totally makes sense. Yeah. Totally makes sense to do this. Yep. And I love the fact that, you're mixing practical along and then using digital to kind of fill in gaps, polish things up, which is kind of the way it's supposed to be used. I don't know that, I remember when you remember the movie Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow? Yeah. It was kind of the very first all digital movie. And it was really cool. And I'd even say that it still kind of holds up in a weird way, mostly because it was done in a retro style. It's like an alternate history period piece. So the fact it looks a little janky kind of fits because it's this weird combination of, like, another time, a pulp novel, comic books, and all these things that it kind of works. So it holds up in a weird way, kind of. But a lot of the other stuff doesn't. So, I mean, it makes sense that you would use these techniques in conjunction rather than just being like, let's go with all this. So I'm excited about it. I mean, if we get Din Djarin, like, screaming into the poop chute of an AT-AT and, like, keel hauling everybody inside, I'm a happy guy. No, it sounds right. It sounds right for the time, because now we have gone through a couple of years of the volume. We've gone through a couple series that are in the volume, and like you said, it shows. Like, there's going to be seams. I think some of these, there is no one technique in movie making that should be everything. Yeah, it's a combination of things that usually works best. Yep. So it makes a lot of sense that it's like, oh, okay, now we know how to use this much more sparingly, as opposed to, like, I think part of the benefit or the idea with the volume wasn't necessarily like, oh, we can shoot everything here. It was like, we can shoot like a green screen, but it actually gives the actors something to work in. Yeah. So they're not playing to an empty room. Like they can actually kind of get a feel for what they're doing, so it helps the actors. And then they took it to this extreme of like, oh well, now we can just do everything here.
Yeah.
And it's like, not really.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for the movie. I'm excited just to see what these cats have dug up, and I'm excited for the fact that like we're gonna see that and be like, they actually built that friggin' thing.
Yeah.
They built it. Oh, there's just something cool about that.
And the fact that the footage they shows Mando entering the walker from the rear,
The poop shoot.
But
the at poop shoot.
But think about how they've done in the past with him, those scenes when he's sneaking into places and employing his Mandalorian technique. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this is going to come through, and I'm excited if we're going to actually get a walker battle, because maybe we see something that we haven't seen before, which seems to be the MO of Favreau and Filoni, is to boldly go where Star Wars has not gone before.
I want to see one of them AT-ATs rear up like a horse. Like,
Uncle Todd says, and so it shall be. All right. Our next article is from, oops, 1 second. I got to pull it up here. From our good friends at CBR.com. CBR, which means cantankerous, boring, and
reclusive.
Randy? I don't know.
If you're cantankerous and boring, yeah, I could see you be Randy, because ain't nobody showing up at your doorstep. You're just a miserable prick.
But this, the title of this article is Disney's Clone Wars replacement show may have quietly spoiled the real lead of Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie. I don't like these titles. Really, at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is that Filoni may have in it. I don't know if I would say it was a direct move on his part, but really the article is talking about how in this upcoming movie he's creating, which I've said in the past, I was kind of confused why it's a movie, but from what I've been reading, I'm going to kind of do a quick aside here and say, from what I've been reading about Ahsoka season 2, I had made the point that doing a standalone movie doesn't make sense when you haven't established Thrawn as the strategic mastermind that he is. I have a feeling from what I'm reading that Ahsoka season 2 may do that. I think we're going to see Thrawn start to wage war with the New Republic, and do so in a way that may lift from the books, especially the first 2 books of that trilogy that came out in the early 90s by Timothy Zahn.
Heir to the
Empire and Dark Forces Rising, that we will see Thrawn thwart and get the better of the New Republic. And I think that makes sense, because it leads very nicely into a movie where you have, and from what we've talked about on the show, it sounds like this is going to be Star Wars's version of Avengers Endgame, where you're going to have not just certain heroes fighting Thrawn, but it's going to be this amalgamation of Mando, of Harrison Dula, and the whole crew, from Ahsoka season, or just from Ahsoka, as well as other. Now, what's interesting, and this is what I find interesting, and what the article gets into, is that, instead of having to find a way to bring Luke Skywalker into it, will Ezra Bridger, who is established in the Star Wars Rebels animated series and is part of us, and really kind of a big part of Ahsoka season 1 and soon to be season 2, will Ezra end up being in a way taking the place of Luke Skywalker in this series, where you don't have to now go with a digitally de-aged or the deep fake work that they've employed to kind of bring Luke Skywalker back in kind of bursts and snippets. But rather than him being the lead and the main protagonist, that it's really Ezra who is kind of he's still on, in a way, that hero's journey. He very much in a lot of ways mirrors Luke's sort of journey. And so the article makes the point that why it makes sense for Ezra to kind of be the lead, as opposed to trying to build it around Luke, Leia, and Han.
Oh yeah.
Maybe what they do here is they leverage what they've established with Rebels and those characters. We saw Zeb, we saw a real life Zeb in the end of Mando season 3. So we get that gang together. We get a few other, parties that are part of the New Republic together to go after Thrawn. And now you have a movie that isn't, solely baked around like having to have CGI, main characters, which is what you'd run into if you were trying to do a Han, Leia, and Luke sort of story. So, what are your thoughts on that? I thought that was kind of an interesting, an interesting point they were making, that you think about, this is the time, this is prime Luke, this is prime Leia and Han, and yet at the same time there has been over the years these characters who have been a part of a story that was told before that time period but still exists now in this New Republic era. Thoughts on kind of focusing on them as opposed to the original trilogy gang?
I'm all in as long as we get a Force Ghost Kanan Jarrus. I'm all in. I agree, because I think that the problem is that we never got the post trilogy series, the sequels that everyone wanted. We wanted the further adventures of Luke, Leia, and Han, and we didn't get it. And everybody has been kind of a little rankled ever since. And now it's like, oh, well, we need to do that. It's like, you can't. Like, you just can't. I'm sorry. They're all, 2 out of the 3 are old, and one of them is no longer with us. And like, it's just not going to happen, folks.
Yeah.
Not unless you do the entire thing like animated.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like, again, you're just, the time is done. Just, we all have to face that. Children of the 70s and 80s, you just have to face the fact to unfortunately paraphrase Rick Pitino, they're not walking through that door. So I have no problem with Ezra Bridger being kind of that figure.
Can I make a little pun?
Go right ahead.
Which is very relevant to our next episode.
Yes.
Han, Leia, and Luke are literally the John Cena of Star Wars. You can't see them. Their time is now.
No, their time was then.
No, but I'm saying their characters' time in the New Republic era is now, but you can't see them because the actors can't play them anymore.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, there's a way around it.
Yeah.
There is a way that you can still, I'm not saying like Luke doesn't appear, because it would make no sense if he didn't.
Yeah.
There will be a part for him to play.
Yeah.
There will be, I'm sure, a deep fake Leia. There will be, Han is probably the one that you could get away with the easiest, just because you could make the case that if this is the period of time after, that Han is on whatever mission or him and Leia are separated for whatever reason. Because you could picture him and Leia being on again, off again.
Sure.
Right? Like that works. There are parts for them to play, because if you're going to connect to the New Republic at all, you're going to have them represented somewhere, because otherwise it'd be weird if they're not. They're going to be prominent members. However, you don't have to have them play gigantic parts. Ezra Bridger would be, again, like you mentioned, he's on that hero's journey where he has a lot more road ahead of him.
Yep.
Right now. And it works better for him relationship-wise, even with Ahsoka.
Yep.
Than with Luke. It would almost be better if there was an encounter with Luke and he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
And went with Ahsoka. So I think that is the move, and I think it'd be great. And I think the fact that you would, I would love to see and I say it, I said I want a Force Ghost Kanan Jarrus, but I truly think that we need that. He needs that guidance, and he needs, Ahsoka is there, but at the same time, like, is that the best guy? Like, guidance, it's like, I think you need that, and I think that would be just really cool fan service, and would also make a lot of sense. So I'm all in on that idea.
And it makes, and the other thing that I think kind of lends itself to it as well is, all those characters, Sabine, Hera, Zeb, they all existed during the Galactic Civil War. It was only Ezra and Thrawn who had been whisked away to the other galaxy and missed it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they weren't part of the story, quite frankly, because when the original trilogy came out, they weren't even conceived as characters. So, of course, we didn't see them. But neither, and the same goes for, characters that we just saw in Andor. I saw an article that, or a little blurb, or might even been something on Instagram that kind of drew a line from Mon Mothma's sister, or sorry, her cousin was her, Vel,
Mhm.
and kind of drew a line from that to then the post-Quill trilogy, because there's an older blonde lady who's part of the Resistance who looks a lot like Vel, and I don't know if she is in fact her or not. I don't know.
Mhm.
But the idea is that they were just saying, oh, this could be Vel, and she could have just been through the entirety of the rebellion and the establishment of the New Republic, and here she is as kind of an older person but still involved in the fight. All these characters don't get highlighted in these stories all the time, and so it's an interesting juxtaposition to say that Luke, Leia, and Han had the focus in the original trilogy, and to some degree the post-Quill trilogy. But when we get to the New Republic era, maybe it's just a different set of people. Luke's
Mhm.
off kind of establishing his Jedi temple, his Jedi school. Leia is busy doing the governmental sort of thing. Han is raising hell, as Han would do with Chewie.
Mhm.
And maybe we just focus in on these characters who did not get the focus during the original trilogy. Like, we don't know really where Hera and Zeb and they all were during the Galactic Civil War. They could have been, working, in the background, working with the rebellion
Mhm.
and fighting that fight. And they just didn't come to the forefront. They were just, involved in, maybe other skirmishes and that sort of thing. And so it's just an interesting juxtaposition that, you're the characters who you think you'd see in the New Republic based on their presence in the original trilogy, they kind of fall to the background. And now you have this other set of people coming forward who were present during that time, but weren't really focused on. I think that's a nice way to kind of play it, because now you don't have to, CGIify the entire, like, main characters of it and turn it
Yeah.
into a big, expensive, ridiculous thing. Use these characters and tell a story through them in live action. I think that'd be
Mm.
kind of cool.
I think the difference being, like, Leia is going to be so integral to the government. Luke is the last known Jedi until
Right.
Ahsoka and Ezra show up. So I mean, there are important. They're going to have to be there,
Yeah.
and I think they should. But I think that if you use them sparingly,
Well, right, you can use them sparingly, but they
Yeah.
don't have to anchor the movie.
no, I think Leia gets one or two scenes, and
Right.
fairly brief. Like, and same with Luke. Like, I don't think Luke needs to be all over the movie. I think a couple of scenes just to make sure that it's understood that, like, this is a weird thing for a couple of Jedi just to show up.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
no, but I think it'd be great. And so, what was the title of this thing again? What was the title of the article? Because it seems like this is
So my title for our show was Filoni's
well, no, but
lead.
what was their title?
Oh, their title was Disney's Clone Wars replacement show may have quietly spoiled the real lead of Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie, which I guess they're calling Rebels the replacement Clone Wars show. I don't know.
Which is kind of lame. It's not the replacement. It was just the next series,
Right.
and then how did it spoils in that, like, yeah, that show was around for quite a while before this. So how does it? It's not like it came out last week.
I will direct you to the writer of this, Ryden Scarnato.
Oh, that is so AI. It's not even funny.
Uncle Todd.
There is
believes.
no Ryan Scarnato.
Well, supposedly here there is.
They can Scarnato my Ryan.
Well, we look forward to Ezra's presence as the hero. The hero. I need a hero.
Jesus.
All right. Speaking of hero,
And here's hoping we get Borgullet somewhere in there.
Oh,
'Cause I think he survived Jeddah.
You think Borgullet survived?
I do. I think Borgullet had a little escape capsule because you know why?
I-
Borgullet knows.
I don't think he needs a space capsule. Borgullet survives on his own.
So what? He's just out there floating around in space.
Could be. Could be. All right. Our next article.
Maybe with a little helmet.
I have entitled. Oh, actually, whoops. There we go. I have entitled Marvel, Will They, Won't They Make Dr. Doom a Tony Stark variant? Robert Downey Jr. is having fun with the fandom. He apparently posted a, on July 26th, he posted a seemingly innocuous video on Instagram that showed a, sorry, I lost my spot. Sorry, 1 second. Where to go?
It showed.
Basically showed a version of a 4-issue comic series called Iron Man Legacy of Doom. And in this series, which many believe that he is using for preparation for his new role as Doctor Doom, it fueled fan theories that his Doctor Doom may indeed be a variant of Iron Man himself, or that he even could portray both characters. So again, I think with the announcement that he is going to be Doctor Doom, there is, of course, many who are drawing that line between, okay, Doom is going to be some kind of Stark variant, or we'll get some sort of tie-in with Tony and Iron Man somehow, with Doom, or I don't know. There's this desire to kind of keep him in that Tony Stark box, but we don't know. He could just be a totally different character in the Marvel universe and just play Doctor Doom straight up. But what's your thoughts on this? Honestly, I could go either way. It'd be kind of cool to find that this is a twisted version of Tony from another, alternate universe, or we see Doctor Doom, and yet we still get, a face off between him and the Tony that we know and love from some other time. But yeah, what are your thoughts on RDJ potentially playing a variant of Tony Stark when he does Doctor Doom?
I think honestly the realest answer here is it comes down to whatever Robert Downey Jr. really wants to do. That's what it's going to be, because that's the only way he's coming back. He was under no contract, and I just did a quick look up. General consensus has his net worth somewhere between $300 and $365 million, which I mean is not like. It's not like, oh my gosh, you could never lose that amount of money, because I mean, you could. It'd be difficult, but you could. But he doesn't have to do it if he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
he doesn't. So I'm guessing that when he came back, it was probably a lengthy discussion about what he really wanted to do and who he wanted to play. So if he was up for, like, yeah, totally, I'll play whoever. I want to get back in the Marvel universe. I miss doing this and blah 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 blah. Or is it a case of, I want to do something completely different. I do not want to be in the suit. I don't want to be referred to as Tony. I don't want to be. There's no tie to Tony Stark, and if there is, I'm not doing it. Which, I mean, the fact is, in the comics, there's enough variations of who Doctor Doom is and all this between alternate timelines and all the different, different time periods and series and everything, that you can figure something out.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually the realest answer. For me, I'm okay with him being a variant of Tony Stark, because unless there's another curveball in that the Doctor Doom we saw in the Fantastic Four First Steps post-credits scene is somehow not from that Earth, that he is from a different Earth, like not 616, but maybe from even a different Earth from whatever, I forget what the Earth was, that they were on there, but from yet another part of the multiverse. Well, he's from there, so he's not from 616, so therefore he could be whoever. So I mean, there's a possibility that, yeah, he's a Tony Stark variant. I'm okay with that. I don't have an interest in seeing Downey play Tony Stark again. Like to have like a Tony Stark versus Doctor Doom, like multiple Downeys involved. Like, no, I think just having him Doom, and maybe he's a Stark variant and all that, but have him be this completely different character. Like,
yeah,
I completely different. That to me is the most interesting way to play this, because I really want to see how he's going to differentiate Doom from Tony. And if it's a Tony variant, I want to see like how they still manage to make that different.
Yeah,
that's the interesting thing for me.
Nice.
So I'm kind of rooting against it, any kind of portrayal of a Tony that we know.
Yeah.
How about you? I mean, do you want to see do you want to see him don the goatee again?
I mean, there's part of me that, I mean, it would be kind of funny if Doctor Doom, who's the bad guy, is the cleanly shaven one, and you have Tony Stark with the goatee as the baby face, because normally it's the other way around.
As per Star Trek.
Indeed. Yes.
And Knight Rider actually too is because what, Garth, He had the mustache, right?
Yes.
Because that was always the easy way to tell the difference. Is like whoever has the facial hair.
Yes. Yeah. It was always the one with the goatee was the bad guy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, part of me, I kind of agree with you. I think there's a part of me who just wants to see an all an all new an all new RDJ character. You know, like him portraying something that is just different. Yeah, that is different from what he's done before. Having said that, the fanboy in me would thumbs up, cheap pop, do would pop to see a return, if you will.
Would you do a Coach Beard when they found out they were getting Zava?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
We just got to that episode in season 3 yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, so great.
Nice.
So great.
Oh yeah. Popcorn baby. But
Horticulture baby.
I love that line. That is one of the best. That is one of the horticulture baby. No, but the fanboy in me would of course love to see the return of the OG Tony Stark. But of course that could cheapen, right, the ending of Endgame and the sacrifice and all of that. So I kind of feel like they've got to, I think the right thing to do is to just let Tony be what Tony was, and he is no more.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do bring back Tony Stark, I've seen blurbs about, like something like Tom Cruise playing a Tony Stark variant, from another.
Oh yeah, that's been a thing for a while.
Which that if they do anything with Tony Stark, it's like, do that, like bring him back with some other actor portraying Tony, not RDJ.
What if they brought him? What if they brought in John Krasinski, who everyone we saw him as Reed Richards in Doctor Strange 2, but everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, he has to be Mr. Fantastic," and then all of a sudden he's Tony Stark, just to piss everyone off.
It would kind of like be making John Krasinski like the Pete Rose of the Marvel universe, where you just bring him in as like different characters who get like offed like super quickly, like like Pete Rose whenever he like tried to take down Kane, and Kane would always like tombstone pile drive him at the end of the whole thing.
Better yet, Tony Stark as played by Danny Trejo.
Oh my goodness.
Tony Stark don't text.
Nope. He doesn't play.
The Iron Man suit is like painted like a Mexican flag. Be freaking awesome, dude. And he's got a machete. Come on, I'm freaking Feige.
If
pay me right now.
If you're going to go there, you may as well make Tony Stark El Grande Americano at that point.
I mean, who isn't at this point?
I know there's like a Grande Americanos coming out of the woodwork all of a sudden.
Did you see that thing I sent you on Instagram where it was like when Ludwig Kaiser and all these people combined? It was like Voltron with a sombrero. It's like combined to become like the ultra mech El Grande Americano.
Did you watch Raw last night?
I saw that highlight. I was hoping that they were going to do the Spider-Man meme.
Did you?
I was hoping that they'd have like 3 of them around the ring and they'd all be pointing at each other.
Did you see the New Day?
I did not see that, but I only watched like 1 or 2 highlights. I didn't.
You need to go back and just see the clips of the New Day and see Xavier Woods' phenomenal hat that he was wearing.
And didn't Penta steal it?
Oh, he did, and he danced with it in the ring, and it was like, the Uber sombrero. It was like 5 times the size of a normal human being. So
see, I was hoping that you were going to tell me that Xavier Woods dressed up as El Grande Americano, because then I'm
no.
Then Vivek is definitely listening to our podcast. There is someone in Titan Towers who is listening to this show.
Could be,
because no one else. That is such a niche request.
It is. All right. Well, we will hold our bated breath to see what Tony Stark, what RDJ will show up as. Will it be a pure Doctor Doom? Will it be a tainted Doom with Tony Stark, or will it be Tony Stark as played by someone completely different? We will find out, not this year, but next December.
I don't think we need to address the taint situation.
Well,
it's a little personal if you ask me.
Nobody wants any taint. So, anyways,
can you imagine? Never mind. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Moving on.
I'm just stopping that one at the station.
Tainted meat.
Proceeds.
No, that's
I
from
had
The
to
Walking
stop.
Dead.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I then had a remark for that one. Please move on to something else because I can't hold all these back.
Tainted meat. All right. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since we've talked about this series, and there are a few things afoot here. But For All Mankind, the series from Apple TV Plus.
What are we in the 2040s at this point?
We're getting there. We're getting there. For All Mankind co-creators, they have an end game in mind for the series. And in this article, they were also discussing what will be debuting at some point. I don't think this year, possibly next year, but there is basically a parallel series that's going to start up called Star City, which I understand is supposed to focus on the Russian side of all of this.
I was wondering where I heard that name. Yes, that was the name for their space program.
So the co-creators confirmed that the show is officially renewed for season 5. That was confirmed actually last April. And it will run alongside a spin-off series called Star City, which will explore the Soviet side of the alternate history universe. But as of right now, season 5 is deep in production. There is no official release date that's been announced. Apparently, this is they have suffered, if you will, from the Writers Guild strike. So typically, when they would wrap up a season, the next season would be already kind of in motion with the writers and producers, working away at it. However, with the Writers Guild strike and the creative team juggling development of Star City along with season 5, there have been some delays in the usual pre-production timeline. So, and the Ben Nadivi, one of the co-creators, emphasizes the first time the show premiered without a writer's room already active for the next season, which slowed momentum, though he assures fans the wait will be worth it. The new season, so season 5 will again feature a time jump of about 10 years, exploring the effects of Mars's capture of the Goldilocks asteroid on life and political tensions between Earth and Mars. And the story is poised for higher stakes, hinting at an interplanetary conflict framed through the series' signature realism and character-driven perspective. And guess who's back, baby? Because he ain't never gonna die. Ed Baldwin will be gracing us with his presence, 10 years older. I swear he's gonna be, quote me on this one, in a hovering wheelchair of some kind.
Professor X, Captain Pike, Methuselah.
And he'll have a cane and he'll be ornery as ever. You kids, you don't know what I had to deal with back in the day.
Actually, you know what? He's just gonna be a brain in a jar. That's what it's gonna be.
Good Lord.
Oh my gosh. It's just reminding me like how long it's been since I've watched this show. Like I started season 4 and I just kind of lost interest. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I think I'll have to go back and I'll have to restart season 4.
Season 4 was good though. I'm surprised you kind of petered out there. It was actually pretty good.
I'm not sure why.
It is starting to disassociate a bit from our reality, as they're moving, especially as they start to leapfrog where we are. It's like I think, to your point, I think one of the things that was interesting for us was growing up in that era.
Yes.
And relating and seeing how they were kind of forking history in different ways. I think those things resonated with us. And now they're getting to a point where, especially when you start talking about settling on Mars and
spoilers,
all of, really everything that I don't want to say like America, but the world has really done, it's America, Russia, and a few other countries on Mars. There is an element that does kind of take you out of it a little bit, because now travel between those two planets is no longer this big thing. It's like every leap they do, things that seemed insurmountable become commonplace, which is fair when technology catapults mankind forward. So I that's what I think, is that I think these later seasons, the challenge is it's really going to disassociate a lot from our reality, which I think was kind of one of the interesting aspects of the early seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I got hooked on it because I'm a history geek.
Yeah.
I love history and the minutia of it, and finding out new stuff and learning new things that I didn't know before about things I kind of thought I had a pretty good grasp on. And then it's like, oh, I did not know that. That stuff is fascinating for me. So then the idea of an alternate history dealing with big events, and then in many ways never really cheaping out, never shying away from being like, okay, now what are the real world impacts? And not being afraid to be like, okay, some things would still be kind of the same. Because you look at that and you're like, oh, well, not because the temptation I would think is to, oh, well, now everything is different. It's the complete butterfly effect of everything is now different. Like, no, it keeps some things very much the same. But other things change, and then other things happen later. And that was fascinating to me. I think what kind of, when we get to season 4 and it started getting a little bit like, okay, it's out of the time period of what, I've really thought of. It does get tough. Then it becomes more science fiction as opposed to alternate history. And that's where I kind of was like, okay, well, I've kind of, but I do kind of want to see this. I'm just hoping that Star City doesn't turn into Caprica, really. Because I feel like it's like Ron, didn't you do this before? And if so, I'm really hoping you've learned some lessons. Because I hate to see a crash and burn in the exact same way twice.
Yeah, and what I'll say that I find interesting with what's mentioned here is, it is funny how it seems like the show, based on their description, will transition from being, and I don't know, maybe there still will be that tension between countries, but when you read this description and hear about how they're looking to now kind of talk about an interplanetary conflict where it's going to be those on Mars versus those on Earth. And in some ways, almost like I wonder if they're using for their model a little bit, really the history of America, which is settlers come across the ocean from England and from other countries, settle here, and England wants to once again rule the land as the king wants to rule its people, even though they're across the ocean, and that doesn't work out so well. And now those people want their independence, and so I'm wondering if we start to see a transition away from countries competing with each other to achieve these things, which is really where we started, to now it's almost like you're not dealing with countries, but you're dealing with worlds now. And I know I'm extrapolating a lot from this description, but
well, I mean, they're extrapolating too. So, hey, extrapolate away.
It's just interesting to me to think that way, that instead of there being an ocean, it's space. And I don't want to spoil season 4 too much for you, but there is an element of that already kind of starting, where there's demands that folks back on Earth are making of the people on Mars. And they're kind of like, screw you guys. Like, we're the ones here. We're doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are just sitting there on your tushes, just calling the shots. Like, you have some sort of, you're not taking the risks. You're not out here doing the sort of work that we're doing.
Which in a way we saw a little bit on the moon.
We did. Yes. So that's what I find interesting, is that I wonder if they're moving in a direction where you start to see this play out. It's almost like a repeat of history in a way. And maybe that's the great irony of where they're going, is that maybe the end to all of this is essentially, we started with these two countries in this race to achieve great things. Are we going to find ourselves back to two entities, Mars and maybe another planet, or Mars and Earth, or I don't know, something, that are launching into something else, and we kind of stop there because it's almost too beyond the pale to kind of explore that, because then it's super fiction at that point, But you know what's not fiction? Ed Baldwin will still be there.
Oh yeah, they could do another 2 time jumps. And he come out, I remember back in my day.
I rode a motorcycle and I liked it. I raced my sports car.
Did you just poop yourself, Ed? I thought they took out your intestines.
Oh.
I had them put them back in. I wanted to be able to smell it.
There's titanium in there.
Yeah. Titanium plumbing.
The other article I had was just another, and one thing I just want to touch on real quick before I jump to the final article on For All Mankind. The creators reiterated their vision for the series is a 7-season arc. Okay, so we're in season 5. 7-season arc spanning roughly 60 to 70 years.
Okay.
With season 5 being a key stepping stone toward that long arc. So we will see what that means. The last article was just a quick blurb on an updated release date. And unfortunately, I don't know why I posted this here because at the end of the day, there was no release date. So
Season 7.
Yeah.
We see there's a big confrontation that's going to happen.
Okay.
It's the brink of war. War, intergalactic war, I tell you. There are ships nose to nose in the outer space, in the void and vacuum of space. They're about to begin firing, and all of a sudden, sir, or ma'am, whoever, I'm getting a strange reading. A ship is coming in. Is it one of ours? No. Is it one of theirs?
Dun, 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 dun.
And who is at the helm? Starbuck.
You're going Starbuck. Oh, are you saying a Star Trek ship captained by Starbuck?
No. I was going with Battlestar Galactica. I was thinking of the Galactica.
Ooh.
I thought I was hearing the Galactica theme. I was only half listening while I was going through my headcanon. But yeah. The Angel of Light returns with the Galactica.
That would be sweet.
Then just black. Just to piss everybody off. That is the end of the series. And Ron Moore's like, got y'all.
Actually, the series ends with Ron Moore reading a paper. He was at the end of BSG.
It then flashes, 100 years later, and it's Ron Moore sitting there reading a paper, closes it, and just goes, "Screw you, Sam Esmail." Fade to black.
Fade to black. I like it. All right. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a neat and tight.
It is actually.
Neat.
My gosh.
Indeed.
This is so tidy on a Wednesday. Friday is going to just be bedlam. It's going to be terrible, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great, terrible. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for, first of all, thank you to my co-host for collating and doing all the hard work of pulling together all of these lists, all of these articles, and then feeding them into AI and then spouting it back to us.
Because Lord knows no one needs to hear me go, well, and then they said, hold on. I
need to get my cheaters. But thank y'all for listening and for tuning in. We do so appreciate it. You can find us every week here on Week in Geek Wednesday, except when we aren't, which, that happens. But you can find us at freerangeidiocy.com all the time for all of our episodes, whether it's Week in Geek Wednesday or Free Range Idiocy Friday. Excuse me. You can find us at all the major podcast purveyors. That'd be Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon. We're also on Podbean. And you can find us on the YouTubes for full video episodes. Full videos also on Spotify as well. So check it out there. And then you can find us on the social medias. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're also on the YouTube. All of those are at Free Range Idiocy. You can find, I already said you can find us at freerangeidiocy.com. You can ask any questions you'd like. You can send us articles that you'd like us to talk about to Tim at freerangeidiocy.com. And that is it, folks. Tune in again on Friday for our SummerSlam recap. And I'm going to hand this back over to Tim, and he can take us home. What do you got to finish off, sir? What's the big finish?
This goes out to all our geeks out there. Free Range Idiocy is your hookup. Holla if you hear us.
Yeah. Now get the hell out of here!